for the last year, and one of them's gonna get fired. Whoop de freaking do. that kind
Yes.
That kind of do.
On that token, yes, you're absolutely right. But when I first heard this match was announced, just out of the blue, after for that exact reason, because they haven't been on TV for a while, with not too much light on them, my first thought was, okay, they're going to fire somebody. This is going to be their way to write them off the show. And with the way, given Rhino's seniority, it could be very possible that Rhino's going to release him. And it looks to be the case where, according to live results, they gave Rhino a bit of a moment. So a lot of people are saying that, yeah, this is going to be Rhino hanging up the boots, so to speak.
I can see that because of what he wants to do with his political career. He's doing he ran for, what was it, mayor?
Yeah.
He ran for mayor, he lost. But I mean, like, once you start that, you get the bug, if you will.
Just as politics came.
Yeah, so it's like at once he did that, and I knew the writing was on the wall. I just kind of wish that there was more build up to it instead of an out of nowhere, hey, if this person loses, he gets fired match. Why should I care?
Right now, the only thing I do care about now is the result of Heath Slater winning. He's now officially a referee. Are they actually going to do something with the fact that he's a referee storyline wise, or is this actually like, okay, so he's kind of leaving the competitive side and just being a ref?
I kind of
or is
want
this
to see,
actually a story?
I kind of want him to just
do.
be. I want him to be as goofy as humanly possible as a referee. Just a storyline where there's actual fun involved, please. Like, good fun. Like, not the stupid Drake Maverick bullshit where Vince thinks it's fun. But I mean, like, Heath Slater is a goofy ref just doing goofy things while people are trying to wrestle.
Someone threatens Heath Slater as a ref. Hey, back off, man, I got kids. Or...
yeah. I got kids. I just bought a pool. Back off.
I'll tell you what, even if this is a legitimate transition for Heath Slater, I can see him legitimately being good in the role. Like, he could very well transition for all we know. Mm-hmm. So, hey, time will tell, and it genuinely has me invested with this.
There's something for you to give a damn about.
There's one.
Not yet, because I haven't seen it yet.
But it's happening, so it's like, okay, this caught my interest. Let's see if they actually do something with it.
See, but then I remember who's running the show, and then I'm like, there's like 10% interest, 90%. I know they're gonna fuck this up. That's it.
But on the bright side, they did one other thing that caught my eye on Raw that I think they did right. And that is give Dean Ambrose promo time.
Dean Ambrose is Bane.
Yes.
And I love it.
Dean Bane Bros.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Well, it was like that when he first came out, but the second he took that gas mask off, it was a little different. But I still like the jacket on him. It actually fit.
And
so in other words, what you're saying is no one cared who he was when he put on the mask.
Apparently so.
Okay, as long as we're clear on that.
Well, at least if you want to keep looking at comic book references in our wrestling storyline, sure.
Which I do.
And this is the problem with the internet wrestling community. Okay? They knew Dean Ambrose before he came to the WWE as Jon Moxley. He showcased some of those qualities on the actual turn. Mm-hmm. When he actually turned during that angle on the show after the tag team match. He showed Moxley qualities. So, the fans expected pure Jon Moxley. And when they didn't get it, when they got this, they turned on everything. they hate the entire thing. They hated last week. Last week was weird, but it was still the best part of the show, in my opinion. Last week with him in the doctor's office getting shots, it was weird as hell, but it was the best part of last week. And this Dean Ambrose coming out with the SWAT team and the gas mask and all that was pure cheesy heel. And it's fine when you have somebody who can pull it off. As Dean Moxley.
As Dean Ambrose.
As Dean Ambrose can. And it was as I said in an earlier recording that I did earlier this week, that cheesy is fine. Okay. But it's all about how you write it. How if the person controlling the character, if the person acting out the character can actually make it work, cheesy is fine. As evidenced by this.
But it's also not enough to be true main event heel.
But that, and also, if you had given Dean, at the time of the turn, full control over what he says, what he does, and all that, then we might have not gotten Jon Moxley. Okay. But we wouldn't have pure 90s cheese Dean Ambrose that we have right now. Okay? It's all about how you present the character, and based off of the actual turn, how he did it, how they executed it, this is not where we should be with this character right now. Based off of the actual turn itself, this is not how this character should be. It's funny, it's cheesy, I'm down with it, it's entertaining, it's fun to watch. But based off of the heel turn itself, I don't get it.
Well, I would attribute that more to what's going on with Raw in general now. That just seems to be the sort of the standard for the time being. That being said, however, I think anyone who's expecting full Jon Moxley era,
you were never gonna get
not on a PG show.
You were never
WWE.
You were never gonna get full Jon Moxley, but it's like when he turned, it was like you had glimpses. Like there was something that it was serious, crazy Dean. Like he looked like he was talking to himself and all that. Like there were things there. Okay, but what we've got now is this dude who's just talking about every city he's in brings him diseases and all that. He's in a doctor's office getting shots while cutting a promo about Seth Rollins. He's coming down to the ring in a gas match, which, while funny, cheesy, definitely douchebag heel. So we're definitely on the right track in that sense. But based off of the turn itself and based off of the character traits he was exhibiting in that turn, I don't see how we got here.
Well,
to what he's doing.
To an extent, I can. It's just from what he... Before the cheese, remember what he was saying about adding to the Shield getting the repercussions of their past actions. How Roman is now dealing with his leukemia.
Yeah,
that was reached the point where people were unhappy with how he's throwing Roman Reigns' real life situation into this storyline. I wasn't angry about it. You weren't angry about it, but there were a lot of people that were taking way big offense to it. And because of that is what changed their story. That's what changed their story greatly. That's what brought the whole doctor sticking a giant needle up Dean Ambrose's ass.
And that's why I have the big problem with the internet wrestling community, because they were the ones who were like,
we want more hardcore,
and then they got more hardcore. They were like, this is too hardcore.
It's too hardcore.
And then they sent him down this alternate path, and then they were like, oh, everything about this sucks.
But I will give it that yes, they did continue on the, as you put it, cheese. I personally didn't find it funny. You may have called that segment last week the best thing that was on Raw. For me, there was no best segment on Raw. That actually was a big factor that drew me out of Raw last week.
That was the only thing last week that didn't leave me like shaking my head. Like, oh, what did I just watch?
It did for me, and they kind of made up for it when he was bringing up the fact that Roman and Seth kind of forgot their path when they first started the Shield, and they started now wanting to become role models, and that Dean never changed what his internal goal of the Shield was, and that was to, as Seth's slogan is, burn it down. He wants to continue burning it down. Now that Seth has now become a part of the system, and he wants to burn that down. I got that. That if he continued more with that aspect, other than and gotten away from, as you put, the cheesy, typical, I'm a heel, so I hate your town.
I hate your town. Everybody here gives me diseases.
I hate your town. I hate you people type of heel promo. Then Dean will actually, in my opinion, reach that point where he would be on the same level as Seth and Roman. Because in my personal opinion, like if you look at all three members of the Shield, and if you look at like where Roman is, from all he's accomplished, he's already reached that point where he's guaranteed Hall of Famer in the future. You look at Seth, he's in the same boat, not as big as extent as Roman, but that's what happens when you have Vince McMahon on your ass. But he has earned that right. So now he could be that point where he can go in the Hall of Fame. And now you look at Dean Ambrose. He's just starting to get to that level.
So he's on his own right now.
It's the fact that he's on his own. But in my opinion,
well, then that's why he's so cheesy. Then,
but if he it's now he's starting on the right path to get to the level that Seth and Roman are. If it ended now and you just think Dean Ambrose Hall of Famer, it's only because the Shield is in the Hall of Fame, not because of Dean Ambrose.
Right.
But now, his turn was pretty much slowly becoming his Seth Rollins' turn on the Shield, and as long as the cheese gets either pushed down, because Seth Rollins had to go through cheese when he was feuding with Dean Ambrose, when Dean was the face with the exploding package of.
So what you're saying is the cheese is sort of keeping him back from being his own, being at the highest echelon he can be.
At the point where he could be looked at as a real top main event guy. He can be at that moment where like he's one of the main events of like WrestleMania, as like what Seth and Roman has done numerous times in the past.
So what you're really saying is that because you feel like because he's taken that sort of like a comedic, like weird edge to it, that's what's sort of it's holding him back in the meantime.
There should not be.
So in other words, what you're really saying is the cheese stands alone.
How did you not know that was coming?
I'm trying to.
Good night.
I'm trying to put out a serious topic on this one.
I know.
I want to see Dean Ambrose put in that same level.
And you're completely right. I completely agree with you. I just
couldn't.
That pun.
You
couldn't resist.
You should have tried. Because I'm like it's like I said at the beginning of the show. I don't know whether to be angry or somewhat satisfied, because it's more in this case. It actually is making me angry because trust me. I wanted to laugh at that pun, but it's that point where I'm looking at this and I'm like, as long as they keep giving Dean Ambrose the cheese, I'm going on with you. Yes. I don't see him as that superstar level as Rollins and Roman.
Because here's the problem. Okay, there's nowhere this feud. There should be no comedy. There should be no evidence of comedy anywhere in this feud. This is really serious, okay? Dean Ambrose turned on Seth Rollins the day that Roman Reigns announced he had